you've been planning on taking us out one by one this whole time, weren't you, Travis?
What? No! Lies! You're always trying to be the leader, interrupting and cutting us off on our podcast.
Oh, yeah. But what about Dan? Reading our intros and outros? Sounds pretty suspicious to me.
Hey, you're right. Let's blame Dan now.
Yes, let's do that, please.
Now, wait a minute. Wait one damn minute. It's still alive. Kill it! Kill it!
Okay. Sam, grab his legs. I'll grab his hands.
I'll get the door.
I'll get them up. Welcome to another episode of Strangers in the Alps, a slasher podcast. I decided to be more upbeat this time. I'm Dan.
I'm Travis.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Frank's son.
Frankensons?
That
Yes.
would make you Travis' son and me Dan son.
No, you'd be Dan Sensei.
I'd be Dan Sensei.
Ooh,
Okay.
I think.
So,
I'm just Sam.
Let me
you're Sam's son.
let me see if I can find this VHS
Or
tape.
son of Sam.
While you're all doing your thing, I'm gonna look for this VHS tape.
What have you guys been up to this week?
Well, actually, we've been, I don't know if you guys heard of this movie called Infinity Pool. Well, Travis, you have. But it's by Brandon Cronenberg, and Travis, you actually told me there was a Q&A at
Century City.
Century City, and luckily I was able to work that Q&A at another building, and who was it? It was Ty West who was moderating, and then it was Brandon Cronenberg and Mia Goth. I hadn't seen the movie the day that I was working the event, but we went the following day, and
We also got Mia Goth.
we also got
Brandon
Mia Goth,
Cronenberg.
but then not Ty West
No Ty
moderating.
West.
They were late though,
Yeah.
But anyway.
you know Hollywood. you know.
Hollywood. But
Always
the
gotta
movie,
make an entrance.
Yeah, so I don't know, Dan, have you ever heard of Brandon Cronenberg?
You've heard of his dad. Mm-hmm. David Cronenberg.
Bobby. Oh, David.
Bobbert.
Bobbert.
Actually, I asked Dan, so Dan, please answer.
Yeah, please.
I have not.
Okay, so he's very much like his dad. He does like body horror. So with this one, I can't even explain to you what the movie's about. I still don't get it.
That's the problem with the movie.
Yeah, but
Oh.
I love the movie because it was my favorite type of horror movie is body horror. So it's a lot of gruesome stuff getting done to the body and all that
No.
stuff.
The trailer was confusing the one time I saw it in theaters.
One time
Yeah.
I did everything because I also went to Alamo Draft House and watched.
to watch another movie.
I watched another movie, and guess what I watched, Dan? Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool.
That'd make a great off-Broadway musical.
Did you do anything?
I worked. I got sick.
Oh no,
Wait. What kind of sick? Should we leave the room?
we can't. We're stranded
It's too
here.
late.
We're stuck in the
We're
cabin.
infected.
We're all trapped in the Alps with
Yeah.
Frank, who's sick.
But they did announce the new DC slate recently
Oh,
that I was
right.
really excited about.
So you watched the James Gunn?
I did, yeah.
How did you feel?
I like it.
Yeah.
It's obvious that there's a clear direction going forward, but I also really like, and this is something that Dan was bringing up earlier with the whole Marvel oversaturation thing. Like before I would have been cool with having like 1 billion superhero shows in 1 year, but in practice it's been exhausting. I
Yeah.
haven't kept up with anything that Disney's put out after WandaVision.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate the fact that they were like, no, we're gonna do 2 movies and maybe 2 TV shows a year. That's it.
And even 2 TV shows a year is a stretch. For me, I was like I said, growing up, I was like, I want more. Give me more. Now I'm just like, you know what? Can we just go back
yeah.
to
I don't have
2?
time, yeah.
Can we
Yeah.
just go back to 2 movies a year, like at most?
I-
Quality over quantity is what I want.
I need Marvel to stop.
Please stop.
I need Marvel to stop now.
But if you want Dan to be the new Iron Man, he's an actor. He's all for it.
He's like, no, I'll take this one for this. But Dan, so two interesting things that they did in this announcement. Number one, they hired the writers for most of these things well in advance so that they could have them written out. So Gunn's bringing his experience from seeing how Marvel does it, and one of the things he pointed out, not being shady, but he was like, yeah, most of these movies don't go into production with a fully satisfying Act 3. They fix that as they go along. So they're DC now with Gunn in the lead position is saying, no, we're gonna hire people in advance, get this written out, and we won't start production until we're happy with what's going on. But so for Scream, there was the episode where we'll talk a little bit more about this, but Wes Craven directed Swamp Thing, which is like a without getting too into detail about it, it's about a monstrous like swamp
Thing.
that protects.
Hence the title, Swamp Thing.
But he did this cult classic about this character, and now they're redoing it with this new plan. And James Mangold is actually in talks to do it.
Did you ever see the cartoon show?
I did not. No.
I don't know where this came from. I have a memory of when I was a little kid and in like the hospital and just being home. Like, 'cause I had surgery when I was a kid. I remember having the VHS tape and I thought it was like a compilation, like the best of episodes. No, because it was like 3 or 4 episodes, but I found out that was it. Like later. Well, because the
really?
show, no, it was so much so. It was a really thing where like the show got like a cease and desist and we're gonna get sued. And instead of coming up with a new theme song, they were just like, you know what? We're just not gonna do the show no more. Because the theme song was a blatant ripoff of Wild Thing, the song, but it just changed it to Swamp Thing. It was there was no. They didn't hide it, and they were just like, you know what? We're just gonna end the show. So it's just
Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
I think you're groovy.
I think you're swampy.
I wanna know for sure. So wait a minute. It was a cartoon.
It was a cartoon.
So is Swamp Thing funny?
I
No,
don't know.
it's actually a really dark.
Is
tragic.
the cartoon funny?
I don't remember. I just remember like.
I've never seen it.
It was in a swamp, and there were some things going
Are you
on.
sure you weren't just like on some sort of
Okay,
post-operation
Dan,
drugs?
they made a cartoon show for the Toxic Avenger. So
Oh yeah, Toxic Avenger is like Swamp Thing adjacent. It's the same. It's not the same thing. It's similar-ish things.
it's less crude because it's
Yeah.
like no crude humor
No.
in Swamp Thing, which is all Toxic Avenger is.
yeah.
Anyway, how was your weekend, Dan?
Yeah. What did you do, Dan?
He was frozen in the Alps.
I've been directing the Disney musical Frozen, on stage with young actors, and we just completed our first weekend, and we have 2 more weekends.
Woo.
I have
Exciting.
6 different casts
That's crazy to.
of "Let It Go, Let It Go."
Are you tired of that song?
I am.
I
I am
been
very
tired of that
I
song.
think
Same.
I started out kind of tired of that song. So it's anyway, that's what I've been doing, and that and eating Italian food.
Ooh, that
yes.
sounds
Right?
good.
Yeah.
My
Italian.
wife makes the best Italian food, and she does not have 1% of Italian in her.
What a woman.
What a gal.
That's talent.
Anyway, that's what I've been doing. Honestly, that's that and watching our movies for podcast.
That's cool.
What did we watch, Dan?
We watched Battle Royale.
In the future, the Japanese government captures a class of 9th grade students and forces them to kill each other under the Revolutionary Battle Royale Act.
Nice.
That's from the VHS tape.
Can we get a little summary of the plot, though?
Yes, of course.
Frank's on?
Frankenstein's.
It's my time. It's my time to shine. All right, so Battle Royale follows a 9th grade class in Japan in a totalitarian dystopian future. So basically, the youths, as they're referred to in the movie several times, out of control. Unemployment rates are up. Basically, everything's all over the place. So the government installs this new act called the Battle Royale Act, which basically allows the government to kidnap a random ninth grade class, or I believe it's not just ninth grade, right? Or is
Yeah,
it?
It is
whatever.
a ninth grade class.
Yeah.
There's like
There's
47,000 of them.
There's
Yeah.
40, well, I think it's grades 7 through 9 or something.
It's a ninth
Something
grade
like that.
class.
Yeah.
For this one, it was
For this
42.
one, it was a ninth. Yeah,
It was
42
yeah.
students in
40
a ninth grade class
yeah.
who get kidnapped and thrown onto an island, and basically they're told, have at it. Winner takes all,
One
and
winner,
all in
yeah.
this case is your fucking life.
Yeah. Dan, this sounds like a lot of the field trips we went through.
I was going to
at
say.
our summer camp.
It reminded me of our summer camp field trips where only one camper got to come back.
I don't know. I fell asleep on the bus. See, before this film, I used to be like afraid to like fall asleep on the subway because I would think that someone was gonna like steal my kidneys. But now I'm like, I don't know. If I go on a field trip now, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know why I'd go on a field trip,
Yeah.
but if I did, I would be afraid now.
Yeah.
So that is the summary of the plot. I think that nails
Yeah.
it, actually.
Yeah.
But I have one quick question because I watched the movie, which is another story I'll tell you about later on. I watched the movie, and I was like, is it futuristic? Because I didn't see any part in the movie where it said it was really in the future.
I think it's like
It started right
near
off.
future.
Yeah,
Near
it started right
future.
off, like
Like-
future itself.
Like not today, but next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it was like a year
Because it didn't
after
say
or
like the
something, yeah.
year, 2035 or something where, we're... Okay, so, pre-thoughts?
I'll go.
Great.
I've heard of this movie at the height of my I've just discovered gory movies. So this was on the list of almost all of the articles and whatnot, and people would always suggest it to me. So I was very excited just because of how controversial it was, and yeah, that was it. I just really wanted to watch it.
Who wants to go next?
I will.
Okay, hang on. Travis, son.
I found out about this at a Barnes and Noble because I actually had the book.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I had the book before it was the movie. I know we're an audio podcast, but the book was like super thick.
Yeah.
And a friend was like, "Hey, we were looking at a book, and he was getting a book." I was like, "What book should I get?" And he was like, "I got a recommendation. You're gonna love it. It's called Battle Royale." And he comes by and he brings this thick book. It's like, "Listen, it's thick, but you're gonna read it quick. It's gonna be a quick read for you." And I was like, "Okay." That was in 2009. I still have not finished the book. And it became an ongoing joke with a friend and I, because I found out she had the book.
Yeah.
He would always be like, "Did you finish Battle Royale yet?" No. And then like you, Sam, I found out it was a movie. Found out it was a film because I remember the trailer came out.
Yeah.
And the trailer, what interested me was, it was like, So what interested me in the trailer was they made like there was a text on it that made it very obvious. It was like Quentin Tarantino's favorite movie.
Right. Yeah. That's
And
what he
I
said,
was
yeah.
like, I don't know, that's kind of weird to me. But that was it. So I have never finished the book, but I have now seen the movie. So there was hype around it. That's my story. That's all I've got to say
And
about
you're
that.
sticking to it.
I'm sticking to it. I don't care what you say.
Well, I remember a similar experience in terms of Quentin Tarantino being the thing that got me on, got the film in my radar. But I remember hearing about it at the same time that Kill Bill Volume 1 was still in theaters. That somebody at school was passing around like a CD that had like a burned copy of the movie because we were all, high school students. So for the most part, we weren't like, yeah, I'm going to import this movie from
Yeah.
Japan and watch it. And at the time, we, of course, most of us didn't know much about the film community and where you could go find imports of movies to rent. And then there's that whole discussion about, region coding. If a movie comes from Japan, usually you can't watch it in the U.S. because it's specifically programmed to only play on Japanese Blu-ray or DVD drives. But through this way, I was able to watch it for the first time. And the thing that really drew me to it was obviously the Quentin Tarantino connection. So this movie is how he hired the actress who plays Go-Go in Kill Bill
Yes.
Volume 1. She's the track star. And I was mostly interested in it because I was like, oh, it sounds like Lord of the Flies, but on steroids.
Yeah.
So as soon as I watched it, I was like, oh, this is fucking great.
Well, Frank, there was also a lot of hype too because I remember this movie. There was like, oh, you couldn't get it. I don't think it was available in the U.S. till 10 years later.
Yeah.
2010.
It was Anchor Bay that bought
Yeah.
it. But Dan,
Dan,
please,
go on.
your thoughts.
That was very interesting. I did not make the Lord of the Flies connection, but you're absolutely dead on. It is like Lord of the Flies on steroids for sure. So I had never heard of the movie. I had no connection to it until you guys brought it up. Going along with the Travis way, or what used to be the Travis way, I did not read anything about it. I did not know anything except the title. And when it started, well, we'll talk about that in a minute. So my preconceived idea of the movie was I had no idea what it was about. I mean, no idea.
Your preconceived was you just heard about the movie.
Exactly.
Because you had to watch it
I was
for
just
this podcast.
told by Sam, oh yeah, you got to watch Battle Royale. So that is what my pre notions were, my pre movie thoughts were.
Mm-hmm.
And what were your thoughts while watching it? Because you sent us a text message.
So
Wait, what was the text message again?
I said, wait a minute, there's writing on my TV screen. So when the movie started, of course, I very quickly realized, oh, okay, this is a Japanese movie. It's in Japanese, and I'm going to be reading subtitles. So I want to do a little quick background, backstory on watching this movie. Last week, in the evening, in the night, like Thursday evening, I woke up in the middle of the night, and I suddenly realized, oh, I'm sick. I had come down with a cold/flu. I didn't go to bed feeling that way, and I woke up in the middle of the night. So I basically canceled my entire Friday. And as I was laying in bed about 9 o'clock in the morning, I thought, I should watch Battle Royale. Now, when I'm sick and I watch movies, I have a very strange emotional attachment to whatever I'm watching.
Oh, no.
Like if I watched if I watched Gilmore Girls, I would just sit there and probably cry the entire time,
no.
even though I couldn't even possibly watch an episode of Gilmore Girls unless I was sick.
Dan was very happy when Ernest Saves Christmas.
Exactly. So I had quite an experience watching this movie. When it was over, I actually went back and watched the first 20 minutes again.
Wow.
Mainly because when I got to the movie, I started thinking, okay, I'm not real clear about this setup.
Yeah.
Like what caused this setup? So, I must have missed something. Let me go back and watch the opening again and see if I did. I didn't really miss anything, but I got a deeper understanding of what,
What's happening
and the importance of that setup. So I had a very I don't want to go to a lot of details right now, but I had a very emotional experience watching this movie. But in a positive way, I will say.
That was me, Dan.
Go ahead.
Having to watch it again for this, I was like, here we go again.
How many times have you seen it?
I have now. I've seen it twice as many times as I've read the book.
So 1.5 times.
So you've seen it once.
No, I've seen.
How many pages are you into the book? 10? 15 pages?
The intro.
I didn't know you had to turn a page yet.
Is it in English?
Yes, it is.
Okay, because that would help.
Wait, 1 second, guys. Sorry, I can't see shit. I just want to move this.
Well, wait a minute. I can see shit. It's right there on the carpet. Oh, come on, Travis.
Well, Dan, typically when you have your book in your face, you can't see anything. You gotta hold it back so you can look at the words. So you start from the left and you go to the right.
Thank you, Travis.
He did a thing. This
has been an educational experience with Travis.
We need to have a jingle for every time he does like a dad joke
Oh,
thing.
no, that button's gonna wear out fast.
I know.
That button.
Do like a fake
You know
crowd
where,
laughter.
you know where I get my jokes from, right?
The back of a Mad magazine?
No, my database.
I'd like to retract what I said. Dad-a-base.
My database.
Get it, Dan? It's a joke.
Yeah, right. D-A-D.
There's layers.
-A.
There's layers.
Dad-a-base.
So
Travis,
about the movie.
why don't you talk about the movie, Travis? Oh, by the way, it was Battle Royale, for those of you who have
the movie,
lost your way here.
I can now say this. We've been trapped in the cabin for 2 months. I cannot leave because Dan put a bracelet around my neck. So if I try to leave the cabin, the bracelet will explode. So
You're in the danger zone.
Explain the bracelet around the neck, Travis.
It's called a necklace, Travis.
For our listeners,
necklace,
for our listeners who have never seen the movie.
So what it is if it's a tracking system. So each student has a necklace on their neck
Oh, that's where they go. Okay.
Oh,
They
that's
have,
why mine doesn't fit. It's on my ankle.
Interesting.
So chaotic.
So they have like the island.
Sonic chaotic.
Yeah. So Chaos Emerald. So they have a necklace around their neck, and
Where it
if they
goes.
try to leave the island, it'll explode. If they don't comply by the rules, it
It's
will
not- yeah,
explode. If they tinker with it, it'll explode. If they're in,
Unless you put a napkin around it, and
Yeah,
for some reason
apparently.
it didn't explode
Yeah.
when you do that.
well, we're getting the spoilers, Dan.
And then on the island has a grid.
Spoiler
Yeah, the
alert.
island has a grid,
The movie
so-
came out 23 years ago. Spoiler
But
alert.
you just now heard of it.
The island has a damn grid, and if you're on one of the grids that's part of the danger zone, you get blown
Yeah,
up.
so
Perfect. Thank
basically,
you. There we go.
There's times, and they also that's how they're able
I
to
just
track
did-
you,
okay.
and they're able to know if you're dead because every day they give.
Yeah, it
Moving
reads
on.
your your pulse.
Okay, thank you for that background on the necklace that goes around your neck.
Did you guys like that they had like the rating explanation right when it first started? Like,
Oh, yeah.
right. It was R.
It was-
Oh,
15,
the
I think.
explanation
Yeah.
and how you can't see the movie if you're under 15, and then recommending for the video. If you parents, please, follow our rating system.
I feel
Don't let
like
your kids watch this.
That's
Very
like the
Japanese.
NC-17
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I read that rating is very rare to be put out.
Well, when the movie came out, when the book came out, it was
Yeah.
really controversial.
Right.
So that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the film like they did not. It was banned in like several countries. When it was like, do not
Yeah.
watch this.
Yeah, and like you said, 10 years later,
Yeah,
they were
didn't
like,
you-
oh, we can actually do a DVD, a straight to DVD release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Thank
Because
God.
I think a lot of the themes of the movie and I think as a work of art, it's fantastic. I
Yeah, I
think
agree.
it needs to be seen.
Yeah.
It's
I
like
agree.
Solo.
Or a Serbian film.
When
I
you
agree.
said that, like, your friends were like shopping the video around or the disc.
Yeah.
That was me with the Serbian film. We were just passing that
Yeah.
around.
Well, with Frankets, you had your Pokemon cards, you had your Lunchables, you had Battle Royale.
Yeah. That's the
It
ultimate
was all
lunch.
part of the
Yeah.
trading.
Okay.
And
Anyway.
you had all that, and then you also had Chopping Mall.
Oh, I have a surprise for y'all next week with Chopping Mall.
I don't.
All right.
Okay.
I don't want to. I don't want to.
Can
be
anyone
alive.
explain what the Battle Royale act is?
Silence is golden.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean?
Just explain what.
Oh,
the,
why is the film called Battle Royale?
No,
like,
you
what's the
remember
act?
they put out an act. It's the BR act.
Yeah.
Can someone explain
Oh,
what
yeah.
that is?
Okay.
I
so
think that was.
I think I mentioned
the
in the
plot.
summary, but
Yeah.
I'll
Well,
bring it
that's,
up
now
again.
we know what it's formally called.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's called the Battle Royale Act, and it allows the government to basically abscond a school of not a school, a class of people of
Ninth graders.
a class of ninth graders. God damn it, and throw them all onto an island, have them fight it out to the death, and then whoever survives, the last survivor wins and gets to go on with their life.
Yeah, they're a good citizen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
According
That's
to
right.
the film.
Because of all the delinquents.
Yeah.
But
And-
even that. When can we start doing
Questionable.
spoiler alerts, please? Spoiler alerts.
Well, Dan, imagine how would you feel? You're on a bus and you wake up, everyone's asleep around you, and they have gas masks and they're staring
I would
at you.
think I was coming back from my Disneyland field trip. That
Travis.
was even questionable, though, because there's a character who had gone through it and had survived it and was back in it again. So even that,
Yeah.
which I think was a telling thing, not a
Yeah.
not a bad writing.
They definitely
turn.
didn't make it seem like the government was cool.
No.
They were not on the right side of
The lawn.
of the law. Yeah, no.
What made you think that What made you think that exactly? The fact that they just put a bunch of 14-year-olds on an island and watched them kill each other?
Yeah, so,
Yeah, it was that, but it was also the fact that they never played by the rules. Like there was a lot of moments where there was like rule breaking by the administrators and the teacher.
You mean by the 7th grade teacher that
Yeah.
somehow
Yeah,
is
well-
now in charge of the entire? That's another plot thing. So the main, can we antagonist? Can we say he was the
Yeah.
bad guy? I guess was a teacher.
Oh,
right?
Kitano?
He was
Yeah.
a teacher who somehow became the head and authority of Battle Royale and was running the military that was running this competition.
From my understanding, it was because when everybody skipped class except when that girl showed up, He's like, okay, well, class is canceled. No one's here. I'm gonna leave. Once he dipped, the best friend of Shuya, what's his name? I think slashed
It was
Kitano in the
yeah.
butt. So he was like, well, okay, well, no one has respect for me now, so I'm gonna pick this class to go into the act.
It was a Kuninobu.
Yeah, Nobu. There you go.
But how did that make him in charge of the
Because
battle
he was
royale?
the one that picked. Because he was the one that got disrespected. So from my understanding, he nominated that class to get
so
abducted.
you think every year, the teacher or whatever,
I think so.
was the one that ran
Right.
it? Okay,
There's
okay,
a new-
that makes sense.
There's
Yeah.
a new MC every year.
A new MC, exactly.
Well, yeah, that's what I thought too. Because when I first watched it, and I kind of forgot when I watched it now, it was like when the student just goes up and like stabs the teacher. I was like, oh, is it in like revolt because they know it's happening?
Yeah.
I was like, that's just weird. I was like, what's going on? Then I'm like, oh, it's
The contrary.
like you said, your explanation.
And you get the feeling that, or at least I got the feeling that these schools were unaware that this competition was going on. This was completely a secret. It wasn't like another movie series that we'll talk about in just a moment. It was like this was a
surprise,
secret mission.
Yeah,
that this happened.
Right. It was a punishment in a way.
Yeah, I think it was a little vague.
But the thing about that is right. How does that get the rest of the students of the country to become respectful of the elders if they don't even know this is going on?
True. Maybe that's a
what
little
if they never
plot
get
hole.
picked?
Yeah.
I didn't know it was a novel. I'm very intrigued now to read the novel and see what's in there that maybe wasn't in the movie.
I think it probably does go a little more in detail in the novel, but as far as I saw on screen, I think what it was is because you see when they're first going on their trip, the school teacher is the first one to kind of notice the military on the side of the road, just kind of waiting.
Yeah.
I think the teachers are aware. They just don't know who's going to be picked. They're not really told until it's their
happens.
turn. I think when it comes to the students, and this goes back to that whole, youth and revolt thing, I think they just don't give enough of a shit to even know that it's going on, or at least to think about it beyond, oh, I heard about this on the TV. I don't care because I've got all these other things I want
Right.
to do.
Oh, yeah. Maybe it's, like you said, it's like, that's not real. It's a scare tactic.
Yeah.
To the youths. Yeah.
Of the nation.
We love that song.
We are. No, mine. I was just gonna say. Well, you even kind of knew too. Like in the beginning, where it shows like it's on the news. Like people know about it.
Yeah.
I know, but
Because remember, it shows
I
the winner.
kinda forgot
it
about
shows,
that
it shows because it happened. Well, I think because it happened so fast at the beginning that you don't know. You can't process it.
But in the scene when they wake up and they're all thrown in that classroom and the teacher walks in, I'm talking about when they've all been kidnapped. It's completely explained what's going on, which tells me they don't know about it.
Well, yeah, you can even tell too because they're not taking it seriously. Like the one girl's talking, and then she gets the knife thrown at her.
Now that's a
the
spoiler
student's not-
alert.
well, we're already like how much into this? How long into this?
23 years. So, but you see what I'm saying though, Travis? That they didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
So I'm still.
Well,
this sounds like I'm really picking on the movie.
Let's watch it again.
I was almost.
That's why I went back and watched the beginning again because I was confused by some things that I didn't really get clarity on.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was almost thinking. I don't know, it was me covering up. I was almost thinking like, oh, this is probably like the first year they've done, or it's still within the first couple
It
years.
can't be the first year because there were two
within the
transfers.
And
first.
they open with
Well,
the
within the
girl who
first
just came
couple.
back.
That's
what I
that's
mean.
And that's on the news.
That's what I mean. I'm thinking it's like in the first few. They've only done it a couple
when
years.
they just
Okay, I get you. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
get
still
you. Okay.
new, so
Right.
not everyone knows about it yet.
Yes, you're right.
Well, I
Yeah.
feel like we're getting stuck on that.
Yes, we
and
are.
There's so many great things to talk about with this movie.
Like what?
Well, I mean,
Oh, I can go.
yeah, please.
The
Please.
instructions video.
Oh,
Yes.
That was good because it's such a
It's so great. You know about the girl?
yes.
yeah.
I have a whole note. Go ahead,
Because
please.
it's such like an Asian thing
It's
for you to have,
so-
right? And like to have like an upbeat, kind of innocent, naive.
It's very tourist
popular-
trap, airplane,
her voice.
Before landing.
Exactly. But that's such like an
Should we
Asian.
crash into the ocean
Right.
and everybody
It's
drown?
almost too like a pre-show when you're at like Disneyland.
Yeah.
Like the pre-show is like
It
boarding
gets you
instructions.
amped up, and you're just like, yes, I'm here in happiest place on earth. But really, she's talking about, if you go when you
Murdering.
go out there, and here's the weapon, you might get the good one or you might get the bad one.
Yeah, it's kinda funny.
But either way, you're gonna die.
Oh, but
so,
she's so upbeat.
Yeah, and
she's
that's-
ridiculously upbeat.
and it's so unnerving because
Yes.
you're used to that the characteristic of that kind of like Asian girl kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But what she's talking about, you're kind of like, oh God, like
Yeah.
what are you doing?
I love the added detail of having the website for the
Yes.
act in the background. You
Yeah.
see www.br.
Yeah. And her outfit's very.
The orange.
It's so cute.
It's so chic.
It's so,
So-
like 70s
Yeah.
airline attendant.
It's almost like the club in like Austin Powers. Like
Yes,
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
of that too.
yeah, Austin Powers. That's what I was thinking of.
What were your notes, Dan?
Yeah, I'm
Well,
curious.
since we're on that subject,
Yeah.
I did have notes about her. I just said I thought she was hilarious, and I thought the setup with her was just brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
But it also brought me to another thing. So my parents actually lived in Tokyo for 5 years. My
wow.
dad
Fun.
had
Were they
yeah,
transfers?
My dad was transferred there for business, and I actually went there a few times. And so I would watch the TV sometimes just because I was like into watching. Nothing was in English, so I was just
Right.
watching. And this was like my first exposure, right, to be actually watching something in another country and there, And the thing that struck me was the laughing is so odd and
Yeah.
different culturally, and I'd forgotten about it till I saw this movie. And there's so much girl laughing in this movie, and it always just sounds so. It sounds like it's dubbed in. It sounds like it's not
Yeah.
real. Like, but I'm not saying it isn't real, but
Right.
it's so different. And then it made me think of like, did you guys ever like watch Speed Racer or any
Yeah.
of
I
those
was
Japanese
just-
imports?
I was just watching
the
that the other
laughing in
day.
that. It's always in that too.
Yeah.
I can't even. I can't and won't impersonate it, but I can't. I can't impersonate it because it's just so
One of a kind.
It's so unique.
Yeah.
And for me, again, I was sick. It really drew me even closer to the movie.
Yeah.
Because you really feel like you are not just are you being transported into another world, meaning this particular competition, but because it's in Japanese, because it was subtitled, because it was, you felt like you were being transported even further
Yeah.
into another world, which I think that's what really grabbed me even more by it being. At first, I was like, oh, I got to read. But then after a while, you're reading and you're just, I don't know.
Engrossed.
Exactly. You're engrossed
Yeah.
by all of it. So,
Yeah, well,
Well, just jumping off of that. So I have an interest in learning Japanese, so I've done it. I've gotten on the wagon a couple of times, but the one thing that is really, I guess, drilled into you when you're learning is that there's a very specific tone and pitch to saying a word, and if you're just a little bit off, the word has either less meaning or it's very obvious that you're not speaking it correctly. So I think that probably plays a little bit into just the difference in laughter, and like I even when rewatching the movie now that I've taken a couple of lessons and kind of learned a little more, like instead of pregnant pauses, they'll use like words like ito or eto, something like that, like just to basically fill in that empty space while they're thinking of something, so it's like you're saying, it's a cultural difference even down to the way things are said, but
Right.
it does really kind of create this different encompassing world that you can be drawn into that's not exactly like what we're in now.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
yeah, you don't see a lot of action pictures or slasher movies where people are running around laughing in American
not
movies.
even that. I
A
just
lot of
thi-
laughing in this movie.
I just think because compared to another film that may or may not be similar to this one, the whole
Are we going
franchise,
there?
maybe.
Are we going to go
I'm
there?
not going there.
I've been.
We
oh,
should.
we are
Well,
going to
not
go
yet.
there.
I just
I
wanna
have
say-
a
Yeah,
bunch
yeah.
of notes about that.
Before we get there, I'm
Yeah.
just saying, like, even the way, like, every time I watch it, it's still, the 2 times now I've seen it, it always gets me as tragic is when the couple's standing there and they, like, jump off the cliff
yeah.
together.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I think is, like, you just see all these different realities of, like, what would happen when it was there. It's not, like, typically, like, because, it's like when kids are like playing video games and stuff, they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna use these guns and like use all of this. It's like, but then it's like now when the reality of situation, it's like, I can't handle it, I'm gonna jump off
Yeah.
the cliff.
Yeah.
I can't do this. Or them just in the middle, like the 2 girls that are yelling and they're like, come
talk it
here,
out,
it's a
yeah.
safe, and they just get gunned down.
Yeah.
And it's just, you see all these different perspectives,
Yeah.
which I don't know, like you don't see that a lot. it was.
especially in the movie that we're about to discuss.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
I'm feeling kind of hungry.
I gotta tell you.
Do you want to play a game?
Foreshadowing. I gotta tell you, I agree. Like when the couple jump off the cliff, or those girls who get gunned down, there was a moment, just a fleeting moment, when I was going, "Wow, these actions are really being compressed. I mean, these things are happening really fast."
Yeah.
But then I really grew to appreciate that. You know, the opposite of what happens in a lot of storytelling where they just drag it on. We got to make sure we set this
Yeah.
up so well that we can justify anything. This movie's set up, this is the parameter, this is the game, go.
Yeah.
And once it went go, it went.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that they didn't spend a lot of time weighing us down with excuses or trying to support the actions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I really think, like you're saying, once it says go, like the minute that they mark the beginning of the game, like you really feel the pace pick up. Like it's almost relentless for that first night. Like things are happening left and right. Like you're saying, Travis, you get a really broad perspective of different students' reactions, and they're not all the same.
Yeah.
They're not all bloodlusty. Even the people who do end up being part of the game, you can tell some of them are doing it, begrudgingly. Like the first like obvious attacker that
The
you
crossbow.
see, the crossbow.
Yeah.
I think his name was Akamatsu. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like from you can even tell he's not really sure why he's doing it.
Right.
He's just running on instinct at that
Yeah.
point, which
Yeah.
I think was really interesting.
And
I
then,
do
like
too.
you said too, I think too, what's almost kind of more shocking too about the couple that jumps off the cliff, like you said, is it doesn't spend the time. It's not like, okay, well, we're gonna have them now a subplot in the beginning, showing them where we meet, show them falling in love. It's like you don't know much
You don't
about
need
them.
to, yeah.
You don't need to.
It's the situation in front of you of
Yeah.
you're gonna either make it or you're not.
and then when we think
Yeah,
it's like,
Hollywood could really take a lesson in some of this,
Yeah.
because this movie was 2 hours long, and in this country it would have been 2 hours and 40. It
would've-
would have been like
It would've been Babylon
2:45,
length.
and it would have been 45 minutes too long.
Yeah.
And we would have walked out going, "Wow, I really like that movie, but it was too long."
Yeah.
For what it is. Go ahead, sorry.
I do like going back to the classroom scene when I wrote his name down. When Nobu, I'm just gonna call him Nobu.
Yeah.
when,
Yes,
when
Nobu.
his head exploded, from the moment of when he started creating this chaos, the edits became choppier. The camera movement became handheld almost. So not only was what's happening on screen with him is chaotic, the whole edit process
Yeah.
created that same feeling, and I really loved it. And then once he's done, it goes back to like a steady shot, and I feel like the comparison between the two feelings is great.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that in a lot of the action scenes where the camera would become a part of the action in the same sort of chaos.
Right.
That kitchen scene, which I just thought
Oh,
was
and
amazing.
that's my favorite, yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And but again, see how fast that all went down. We don't know
Yeah.
a lot about any of those girls. We don't know a lot about the girl. We know enough to know she's trying to poison. What is this?
Nanahara?
Nanahara. So, and then right away, it completely goes into chaos, but in a way that's just so frightening, and just in the whole cutting and the way
Yeah.
the camera work just went right with it. Sorry.
It's a good tactic because it tires you out.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh. And then once it's done, you're like, oh, thank God, all right. And then you kind of pace along, and then something else happens. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, not again. It's like running a mile.
But another thing that I really appreciated about all those moments is that not once does it feel like they're glorifying any of what's happening.
No.
It all hits really tragically.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck.
Right.
Another one?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
But especially going back to that kitchen scene, you don't know a lot about the girls, but in those few moments, you do get a general idea of who's who in this group.
Yeah.
You know what they're like, and it really helps sell. The end point of that with the Mexican standoff gone wrong. The fact that the poisoner is the only one that doesn't get hit.
And no
Right.
one questioned her.
No.
She was just standing in the back. I feel like I would have been like, no, you haven't talked much.
Ma'am.
Ma'am, who are you?
I think there was just too much chaos. It was
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
of a sudden it just all broke
Yeah.
down. It just like the floodgate just
Yeah.
came wide open, and it was not going to end well.
Well, they really did paint her as like the meek, shy one that's too scared.
Yeah.
They talk about how they locked Nanahara's door. It really delivers that point of once the game starts, it doesn't matter who you were before.
Yeah.
You might not be that same person when it starts and shit hits the fan, and you're out basically looking for yourself. Even though a lot of alliances were formed, pretty much most of them eroded. Yes.
Yeah, well, even to the part, I think, when they get attacked, when the guy comes jumping out of the bushes and he has, like, the helmet, with, like, it leaves, it's like, it's like, was he just, like, defending himself?
Yeah.
Was he actually actively waiting and attacking? Yeah, I don't know. You don't...
The lines really do blur.
Yeah.
100%.
And it's creepy to think, too, that the guy with the really messy hair, I honestly don't remember his name, with the black.
It
Oh, yeah.
He voluntarily just wanted to be there.
Kiriyama, yeah.
Yeah, because they mentioned it. They were like, oh, and there's this transfer that just wants to be here.
The guy's a psycho, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a psycho, man.
He plays
for
it really
sure.
well, too.
Oh, he
I will
was great.
say, I ship him and the girl that's also psychotic.
Oh, Mitsuko?
I would
Yeah.
love to see them together. I think
is-
that's
You
a
want
great.
those two to reproduce?
I would love to see them at least fall in love.
They would have made a
ship
good
them.
couple.
They would
They
have.
would. They have a lot in common.
Yeah, but that first lover spat did not go well.
No, it ended. It ended really quick. Yeah,
Very
yeah.
quickly.
Before we cross into the elephant in the room, whose name is Suzanne Collins, there's a couple other things I would like to just point out. First of all, I loved the music.
Yes,
yeah.
same.
I thought it was fantastic.
The opening score.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I was going to say something else.
This was
if
made in
anybody wants to-
2000. Is it 2000? 2001.
2000.
2000.
And then the directors came out in 2001, right? The cut.
Did it?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, we watched the director's cut. I
Yeah,
forgot
we
about
did.
that.
Yeah.
I don't, and it got me thinking. I was like,
And that was 2 hours. So the original was what? An hour
That I don't know.
45? Or
I don't.
I think so.
actually didn't
most
look.
of the basketball stuff, I think, is what's
The
added.
directors?
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, because I have a huge thought about that. I thought the basketball sequences were amazing and incredibly important.
Yeah.
Because what they were doing was they were reflecting back to teamwork.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. They were reflecting back to teamwork and just sort of and a time when everybody was, having fun and working together and striving for a common goal, and just a simple thing like a basketball game with cheerleaders and fans. And I think the fact that they kept going back to that was actually really important.
Right.
Yeah.
And if I saw the movie without it now, I think I would sorely miss.
Yeah.
'Cause I thought
Yeah.
it added a real layer
Yeah.
Is
that was
Unity, yeah.
very important.
Is the theatrical available in the U.S.?
I thought.
Yeah, it is.
I think that's how I watched
believe
it
we have it
first.
on the Vudu as
Yeah,
well.
I don't. Because that's the thing. Thinking back, because
The Voodoo HS.
the
Yeah,
Voodoo,
the Voodoo
Voodoo
HS.
HS. Yeah, because when I saw this film probably in like 2011 or 12 for the first time, and I don't actually remember. I know I streamed it somewhere. It might have been Netflix.
I think Netflix had
Yeah,
it for
but
a
I
while.
don't remember.
I don't think it was
It's been
directors.
so long. I
Yeah.
don't remember
What it was.
which cut I watched.
I don't think it was directors.
And then Frank, which cut is on 4K now?
I believe both. It might just be the theatrical, but I think they might have done the theatrical, and then the extended scenes are just like
Like a
2K
bonus feature,
or 1080p. But so the original cut is 113 minutes, and then the 8 extra minutes get added, and that includes includes scenes newly filmed after the release of the original. The extra material includes scenes filmed after the original.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Does it tell you what it is?
Yeah, so the inserted scenes are the flashbacks to the basketball game,
Oh, there you go.
which frame the story, and I think they work beautifully to book frame
Yeah.
it, to book end the movie and frame it. The flashback to Mitsuko's.
That's also very important.
Yeah, that's very important, and I'm glad that they added it to this
Yeah.
because it really does frame
Wait,
her
which
character.
part?
The one where she was about to get molested by her uncle.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
no,
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I think that I did see that because I was like, yeah, I don't remember this.
Yeah. Yeah.
when I
And
was,
then the 3 endings, the extension of
requiems.
the requiems were added.
Oh, those were great.
Added shots of the lighthouse after the shootout, added reaction shots in the classroom, and extensions to existing shots, and then little bits of CGI throughout the film, which I kind of noticed, but at the same time it didn't detract from me. I
Yeah.
think some of it was blood, but
All those reshoots are great.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think this might be now. I mean, other than maybe like Blade Runner, I think this might be the only time I maybe prefer the director's cut. Usually
Yeah.
I don't. Well, okay, director's cut with scenes filmed later. Like
Yeah.
when they tinker, usually I can't
Yeah.
stand it.
Yeah.
Star Wars. But
Spider-Man. Do you remember what you're gonna say, Dan?
I think I said
did
it.
it?
I think
Okay.
I did.
We just went radio
I mean, I
silent.
was just looking here through my notes, but I have a lot of respect for the acting in this movie. These were really young actors, and this cannot be an easy task. Making a movie like this with the intensity
yeah.
of it,
The
but I
content.
thought they were so well cast.
Yeah.
I never questioned anybody. There was never a false moment for me in the acting and the relationships. I never stepped out and went, wait a minute. Never.
Because one of the scenes for me that I just thought was very, very well acted was the scene with the girl with the scythe when she sees the girl and she's like, I'm sorry, I don't know the names. And she's like, oh, did you take her weapon? She's like, oh, no, she didn't have a weapon.
Yeah.
I didn't take it. She's like, oh, well, because, I went into the bathroom. And I found like the tampon in there, so I know.
Oh, yeah.
So I know you went in there,
yeah.
and just her reaction, when she realizes she's getting like figured out, the
Yeah.
girl with the scythe.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was
Yeah.
on the edge of my seat.
I thought it was so sad too when the girl killed the guy who always was in love with her. And at
yeah.
the very end, when he just tells her,
He was Noriko.
"Oh
And
my
he's like, oh, I always thought you were
gosh."
cute. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's like there
Yeah.
were so many moments like that in this movie where you were really taken. Again, I was sick, so I
So
was
you're gonna. This is your.
sobbing
This
through the
is your
entire
new.
movie.
Every time I got sick. Looks like I'm putting them on Battle Royale again. Hey Frank, look! Oh boy, there they go killing again.
I thought another thing I thought it was not funny, but it took me. Sometimes we see movies that are older and you look at sort of technology, and then for a second you go, oh yeah, that back then that was. It's like when you see old TV shows, you see these gigantic, car phones or whatever. I thought the idea of computer hacking was still pretty
Oh,
fresh.
right, yeah.
That was a fresh idea.
Yeah.
So like now, if you did that, it'd be like, okay, whatever. I mean, but that was and the whole idea when it sent the bug in and did everything. They go, just unplug it and plug it back in.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
That is so funny.
But that's also a plot hole because their necklaces, they have mics in there or something. What was it called? Not the mics, but it was a listening
Tracker?
device.
Oh,
Yeah, he covered his with the
Right, but everybody
with the
else also had
Kleenex.
it. And it's just
yes,
like,
I know. He was the only one that covered
yeah,
it. I know.
it's just kind of like, but you're clicking and clacking on your. He was typing furiously. I feel like they could have picked that up.
I'm sure they probably could have picked it up, but I don't think they would have
Locate.
figured out what exactly it was.
But
Right,
they
because
could get the-
again,
they
I
could
think
get the
computer
GPS.
I think computer hacking though, at that time was still a fresh idea.
Yeah.
Whereas now you would right away nobody's gonna have a laptop or
Yeah.
access to anything. Your phones are all everybody has phones now. They wouldn't have any of that stuff.
But I also love that he's like, all right, go find sulfur, go find charcoal, go
Yeah.
find all of
Oh,
these
and
ingredients. And I'm like, well, okay.
Yeah,
And
let's-
never
let's-
once did they ever get hunted.
Give me some fertilizer.
Yeah, and they just came back with all those ingredients.
Right.
Speaking of ingredients,
Wait, you know what? I guess that goes to show that not all of the students were lost causes because they found all those things pretty quickly.
They did.
Yeah. Even just knowing what
Where
you
to go,
needed
yeah.
to make a bomb.
Yeah. So they shouldn't have
So I
died.
guess in some ways, though.
But I felt bad when they died, though.
I did too,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Though-
because you wanted that to you
Yeah.
wanted them to pull that one off.
Yeah.
It felt like that maybe was going to work, and you got a lot
Yeah.
of hope that okay, and then the madman shows up and just levels them all.
Yeah, I do like that they didn't make that bomb go to waste, though. It still had a purpose.
Yeah.
Even if
Same.
it was in the original intended one.
Right.
Like, it still blinds Kiriyama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't see that.
Which is
coming.
a crazy, crazy cool look for, like, a final boss, quote unquote.
Right.
It was really a cool look.
When he emerged from the
fire.
Yeah, and then you look at his eyes, like, why are you crying black tears? Oh, you're blind.
See,
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Got
the first time I saw it when I was a kid, I was like, wait, what's going on?
On the playground.
Yeah.
Wait, how many times have you seen it, Frank?
I've seen it at least 6 or 7 times.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I don't see it as often as I
Want to?
thought I would when I first started, just because I've come to like really feel the heaviness of the story.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think it's every once in a while, like I'll
Just put it on?
rewatch it and I'll be like, yeah, this
Were
is.
they always
this is
director's
worth it.
cut or?
No, the first couple times it was the theatrical cut. Lately it's been the director's cut,
Right.
just because
It makes more sense.
Yeah, once you see those
Yeah.
extra bits, I mean, the experience isn't the same without
Yeah,
them.
I agree.
Man, I can't imagine it without those things,
Yeah.
honestly. So, shall we take that leap?
Let's go.
Let's
Suzanne
do
Collins.
it. So, Suzanne Collins, the author of Hunger Games, this series of novels, which I believe there were 4 of, and there were 4
Yes.
movies, or were there 3 novels?
No, it was three novels.
Three
four
novels.
And they
movies.
divided
Yeah.
a third novel into 2 movies.
Cha-ching.
She claims that she was not inspired by Battle Royale, and she goes further to claim that she'd never even heard of Battle Royale. However, Quentin Tarantino claims that Hunger Games is a blatant ripoff of Battle Royale, and he was pretty outspoken about that in an article I did not read.
He would be outspoken about
Well, you
it,
can
though.
probably,
he
you can
was
probably,
outspoken.
You can probably listen to his 3-hour podcast.
But
If
it
you
is,
ever-
it is an interesting comparison. I think we should talk about Hunger Games and Battle Royale. So
I wrote on here that this movie is the more sadistic Hunger Games, if you can compare it that way. But I feel like Hunger Games is a lot safer than this one. And it's just like, not really her fault. It's just, if she did something similar to this, it won't get released at all. So I feel like she had to take that road. If she did, rip it off, she just had to be more careful with it.
Yeah,
I think it was also targeted for
A way younger audience, yeah.
When I first heard about Hunger Games, I heard about it from my daughter, who I
Yeah.
think was like maybe 12 or 13, when she started reading it. And when she was telling me the story, I went, whoa, hold on a second. This is for your age? Oh, yeah. This is And then I heard from more and more, because I work with kids, and these like 12, 13-year-old girls who were like reading this book. And
Yeah.
and not just girls, boys and girls both. And it was, for me, like really hard for me to wrap my head around. This is not an appropriate sounding
Yeah.
series of books. Now, I never read the books. I did see the movies, however, which we can get into about that if we would like.
I read the first half of Hunger Games, and I thought, what was her name? Katniss, I think?
Yes, Katniss.
Wait, the first
Start
half
again.
of the first book? Or
The first half of the first book.
That's where, yeah.
Yeah, so I found Katniss to be very whiny. In the movie, she was not as whiny, but I couldn't stand the character in the book, so I stopped.
Yeah.
That was great casting, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
You
Yeah.
couldn't have done that any better.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I first heard about the Hunger Games, it was always like, for me, it was kind of the opposite. It was like, oh yeah, Hunger Games. It's kind of the thing that's kind of like Battle Royale.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's been kind of reversed now.
Yeah.
With a lot of people.
yeah,
Well, Hunger Games was wildly successful.
Oh,
Go ahead.
Oh yeah. I think, just to put it out there, obviously I prefer Battle Royale in terms of quality. I still enjoy Hunger Games, but like you're saying, it's definitely the safer choice. And in doing so, I think I don't know that it has as much to say.
No.
No.
It's just dystopian.
It's a dystopian
Yeah.
YA novel. It's
Yeah.
entertainment, but I think Battle Royale is just a bit more my speed personally.
Yeah.
I agree. I will say this, though, for Hunger Games. I do think that she created a futuristic society and a futuristic world, and I thought when it was, I didn't read the books, but I'm assuming that this was all in the novels. And I thought that the art direction and the whole look and everything from the wardrobe through the hairstyles and just the whole feel of Hunger Games, you really felt like you had stepped out and into a different world.
Yeah.
And I think that was important because
Right.
by doing that, it was easier for you to accept
Yeah.
what was actually going on. Because if it was done like 10 years from now, but nothing had really happened except for some reason now we're doing, you would have a very hard time accepting that any civilized society would allow something like this to happen.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
Yeah, I agree. Especially the direction and Catching Fire particularly was really impressive. I can't say anything negative about the movies. I think I only read one of the books, but again,
Yeah.
if I had to choose between the two,
Right,
of
it's
course, Battle Royale
noticeable, yeah.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, you know what? I think when it comes down to whether she ripped it off or not, we see a lot of times there's this phenomenon of the dueling movies. This just 2 movies that are produced about the same thing. Volcano, Dante's Peak. What was the other one?
Armageddon, Deep Impact. And then there was even the one too. It was
Pokemon, Digimon.
No. Yeah, it was the
Well, I
one.
mean,
One
Pokemon's
of them was
superior,
with
but-
Mila Kunis. It was the both like hooking up ones with friends.
Oh,
Friends with Benefits
Friends with
and Love and
Benefits
Drugs.
and-
Love and Other Drugs. Love and Other Drugs.
Yeah.
It was Anne Hathaway and Jake Gyllenhaal.
Love and Other Jugs.
You know,
That's the porn. That's the porn version.
I heard an interview with Steven Spielberg last week. I think it was based because of Fabelmans, but he talked about high concept films, and what makes it high concept. We know it works. It works, and so now we're trying to recreate it or stay in that vein because we know we're already working inside a world that we know. And I think, I'm not saying that's necessarily the Battle Royale to the Hunger Games, because I think they're outside of the idea that it's youth battling each other to the death. That's about it, because everything else is, I think, wildly different.
Yeah.
No strings attached.
Ah.
That was the film. I think that was with Justin Timberlake, or was...
So are we really talking about romantic comedies right now?
Ultimately, it didn't matter.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
It doesn't... It was just, me, like, I get hyper-focused,
Yeah.
and that's it.
I mean, because
You're right,
we could
you're
talk
right.
about...
Sorry, you told
we
this
could-
whole anecdote.
We could talk
and-
about French Kiss. That was, I think, Kevin Kline and Meg Ryan.
Isn't this a
We could
horror
talk about
podcast?
Sleepless in Seattle.
I like Sleepless in Seattle.
We could talk about
You've Got Mail.
When Harry Met Sally.
My best friend's wedding. That's my
Oh,
favorite.
Got
My
Mail.
Best
Oh,
Friend's
that one's
Wedding.
good.
You know what actually is a good movie? Has you ever seen 4 Weddings and a Funeral?
Oh, I loved it.
That
I've
is
been to
such-
4 weddings and a funeral.
To me, that
It was a long Thursday.
to me that is not a romantic comedy.
No.
however. Okay. Anything else about Hunger Games versus Battle Royale?
I have nothing.
No, I think all that there is to say, really, and we've kind of covered it, is there's similarities, but they basically end at children murdering each other.
Yeah, there's that clear crossroads.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think Hunger Games is fine. I read, I think maybe the first half of the first book.
Yeah.
And I saw each film in theaters. Haven't seen them since. I thought it was fine. I mean, other than I think just the, like, them being in an arena, like, facing off, and then it being, like, government sanctioned, I think that's kind of where the similarities end. I think they
Yeah.
were both had different themes that they were trying to tell. I don't know. Like,
Agreed. I do. I think they are different themes. So, final thoughts?
Sure.
Yeah, I think we're about ready for those. So before we go into final thoughts, I just want to say I do like one more thing. I do like the fact that the movie kind of counts down the deaths.
Yes.
Each
Yeah.
student
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
like,
get the
so and so
stats.
died. 38 to go. Like the stats really like help build that tension of everything's closing in around the
It gives the audiences like some time to breathe and just kind of reflect on what just happened.
and it's cool too because that was in the book.
Yeah.
Also, yeah.
Oh, wow.
It is?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I was going
cool.
to say
That was in the book.
I'll bet that was an editor's decision. A quick backstory. Just saying that. There's a movie made in the 50s called High Noon. I'm sure
Yeah.
we've at least heard of it.
Yes.
After the movie had all been shot and they were cutting it together, it was actually the editor's idea to insert a clock and keep going back to it to show what time it was. And so all through the movie, it constantly is showing you what time it is leading up to high noon, which is where the gunfight's going to happen.
Oh, that's
and
so
it was
cool.
Yeah, that's
such
cool.
I mean, I've seen. First of all, it's a really good movie. But I saw the movie the first time, and I already knew that story. But even knowing that
In the theaters,
it
right?
adds so. Yes, I was on a date. It was back in 1951 with my wife. It adds so much tension, and I agree that this did the same thing by showing you those death counts and realizing how many are left. You get down to that last one, like now it's 4.
Yeah, it's the anticipation.
It's like-
And it just
yeah.
crazy.
And it just
Yeah.
added the tragic. It's like you would see the like even when the kids jumped and like all the tragic stuff, you would see the stats come up and you're like, I
Yeah.
don't want to know that.
I just saw it happen.
I just saw it happen.
They're dead. They loved these things. They did not like these things. Their favorite food was.
It's
Are
like-
you
Yeah.
sad
No,
now?
it's like it's kind of like do any of you Frank Sim, do you remember that show Next? When they got off the bus, and it's like, and it was always like
Age 21.
Yeah, age 21. It'll be like 2 like facts about them,
Hobbies.
and the third one will be like has never played Uno before. Drinks
All right.
the hot dog water.
All right, let's do
Anyway.
final
Yeah,
thoughts.
final
Anybody,
thoughts.
jump in.
I'll go-
Travis, jump
Yeah.
in.
Oh yeah, I can do. I mean, we've pretty much said it all. I think it's a great film. Having it seen twice, maybe one day I'll read the book.
finish the
I
book.
think it'll take more than one day, though.
Maybe one day I'll finish it. No, it's good. Hold on, let me start over.
Don't start over. I
I'm
like
not
that
starting-
one day I'll read it.
Yeah,
and-
no. You can cut that. I'm just saying this. We can go from now. No, I enjoy it. It's not pleasant when you're watching it at all.
No.
But you get hooked on what's going on. You get hooked to it. Very well made, very well acted. See how insightful my thoughts are. I can.
I think you're saying great. I think you're right.
Yeah, that's all I have to say. I mean, like I said, we've pretty much summed it up. So for my rating, I will give it 4 out of 5 water guns.
Nice. Wait, can we cut this before the final thoughts? I want to ask, what did you guys think of the ending?
Well, I didn't get the water gun. I'll start with that.
The Kitano, he was
No,
about to.
yeah, I didn't get why he had a water gun.
It was a joke. It was all a joke for him.
I think he wanted to get shot. I think he wanted
he wanted
them
to die. Absolutely.
Yeah, he wanted her specifically
To
to
win.
kill him.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
go with that. That's great.
What you guys think of the ending?
I was sick, by the way, just so you.
Yeah.
Sick in the head.
After this movie, yes.
I don't want to get into discussions, obviously, about Battle Royale 2, but
Yeah,
I didn't see it.
I didn't either.
yeah, I don't think we need to.
Oh,
Well,
great. Let's not do that
well,
then.
we know
Can we
too-
wrap this movie? Let's.
Yeah. I love
Wait,
the
do you
ending.
have something
Yeah.
to say about Battle Royale 2?
No, I was just gonna say because I know the director. Did he finish it, or
No, he died.
No,
He died
two-
3 days or like a couple days into filming, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, his son finished Battle
Because
Royale
his
2.
son wrote it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Anyway,
Well, there was no Battle Royale 2 book, so that's
Yeah. I love the ending. I think I think it's great, but
I also like the ending.
yeah.
Okay.
I thought it was great.
Great.
All
so
right,
rating.
Rating.
Rating. I'll go into my final thoughts though.
Oh yeah. Final thoughts and rating.
Bit a setup. I feel like I can oddly connect this movie because I'm Asian, so there's always this.
Wait
really,
a minute. What?
Yep.
For those at home,
FYI.
FYI, newsflash. No, so it was always instilled in me, and it was like a thing where there's this really big, well-defined line between adults and kids, and you have to have this ultimate respect for any adults, no matter what you think of them. If you don't agree with them, you can't talk back. It's just respect, and that's that. So, with this one, seeing these delinquents not have any for adults or teachers in general, it just kind of like made me a little triggered. And for me, I feel like I enjoyed that Kitano wanted to do this payback or to set them up or ultimately kill them, teach them a lesson. I felt like it's well deserved. So I really, really, with that being said, I really, really like this movie. And I felt like it was a great movie to introduce me into like this kind of gory, shocking, controversial phase that I went into. So yeah, overall I give it 4.5 sickles out of 5.
oh nice.
Nice. Yeah, I gotta say, I love the movie. I think it's full of action. The tension is really, really high. The dramatic scenes really hit. It has something to say. The acting is great. The music is great. Direction is fantastic. Shots are great. It's a great film. It's really heavy, so I don't return to it as much as I do other films. But I'll recommend this film till the cows come home. So I'm gonna have to give it, and this is gonna be another one. 5 spilled spaghetti pots out of 5.
Ooh, that
Spaghettis,
kitchen
yup,
scene.
Yeah.
That's a good
That,
one.
that spaghetti looked good too.
It did.
I don't know what that watery, brothy
The
stuff
broth was-
was.
yeah.
Man,
But
it
it
looked
looked
good.
delicious.
It looked
Yeah.
so good. Again, I was sick.
Anything he can digest.
I will. I'll keep this short and sweet. I really liked this movie a lot.
I'm
I thought it
surprised.
was so well done. It took me no time at all to be all in. And I was not let down by any of it right to the end. I thought the requiems were great. Again, I love the flashbacks, the basketball. I thought there were so many layers going on that was keeping this movie, pushing this movie forward and keeping me completely engaged. So I've already talked to friends of mine who all have never heard of it and said, hey, you've got to see this movie. There will be some reading you'll have to do,
Fun.
but not that much. So you can do it. I'm going to give this movie 4.7.
Ooh. Wow, you beat me.
We all did above 4. Well, 4
Yeah.
and above.
Would you like to know 4.7 what?
Yes.
Sacks of fertilizer.
Oh,
Bring it on, baby.
If you weren't sick, would you have rated it any differently?
yeah. What's the Tylenol, the medicine level? How much of an influence?
How doped up were you?
There was no medicine level. I was just trying
Resting.
to sleep it off.
Yeah.
And I think one of my fears was, oh, what if I fall asleep in the middle of this movie? You know, because,
Yeah.
you're just, no, this movie kept me wide awake. So I thought it was great. I mean, I really, really liked it a lot. So that's it. Join us next time for our next movie, which is what's it going to be, Travis?
I don't know why you're looking at me.
What's it going to be, Frank?
It's going to be a little known Valentine movie called Valentine.
It's not called My Bloody Valentine.
It's
No.
It's,
Is it that-
Is it really called
Yeah,
Valentine?
They
Yeah.
remade it. They
it's
remade
it's
it
a
too.
basically forgotten slasher from the early 2000s,
Oh, love that.
starting David Boreanaz.
Stop.
Yes.
Okay,
Hey,
I'm
it's
down.
too bad Valentine's Day isn't on a Thursday. We could drop it on Valentine's
so
Day.
perfect.
Oh, all right. Join us next time for Valentine.
If you enjoyed this podcast, like us, subscribe, tell your friends, and please comment. We love to hear what you have to say.
This has been Strangers in the Alps, a slasher podcast. I'm Dan.
I'm Travis.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Frank.
We just got called on a bus, so we'll see you all next week.
All right. We're out.
Keep it all in.
Tighten this.
That's what she said.
It's got to tighten more. Wait, what's